Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palettes. I am Aaron Loomis coming to you from the Drew Estate Studio. With me today is June Liu from the Box Press Studio, Seth Geis, and from the Pastania Studio, John McTavish. How you guys doing this evening?
Superb.
Good, man. Looking forward to all the great cigars that are coming out to 2024. And I'm going to do an over under on the number of times we get asked on our YouTube channel whether we like cigars or not. And the answer, of course, is we do not.
That's correct. We liked a couple this year, I think, but
Yeah,
otherwise,
there's
no.
one or two.
Yeah,
No more than probably two.
yeah. As people like to say, the shortest top 25 list in cigar industry. So, that's appropriate, I guess. All right, so we are gathered here today to talk about our top 25 list for 2023. We've kind of done this format the last 4 years or so, where we kind of have now combined our list together rather than doing individual lists. So I think we're just going to kind of hop right into how this works, and I can hop into the criteria here. Let's see if we can figure out where Zoom has
No
put
limited
all the...
editions, no store exclusives.
Okay,
Wait, what?
it could be it. All right. Let me know if you could see this, guys. All right, perfect. So this is our criteria. Really, there's two pieces of information you need to know. Only cigars that were released between September 1st of 2022 and October 31st of 2023 are eligible. Last year, with all that kind of supply chain issues and the number of cigars and when we could get them and all that stuff, we kind of ended our year early. So we're catching back up. So we're starting at September 1st of 22 and stopping at our normal Halloween of the kind of year that we're talking about. So this is getting us back on track. So that's the window. The other criteria is that the cigar has to have been reviewed on the site by all 4 members of the team. We do not abandon our review process when it comes top 25 time and just let everybody randomly pick whatever cigars they want and say these were the best cigars of the year. We kind of stick to our process here. So
That would be a lot less work, though.
it would be less work, but then it's hard to kind of say that you're not biased and all those other
That's
things
true.
that kind of go into it. So
That's
it's
true.
just all that stuff. So we didn't re-smoke anything. This was just based on the reviews during the year. So there's no retries or cigars that are scoring 5 times higher the second time you smoked them, any of those things. It's just what it was when we smoked it for review.
We got families and responsibilities, y'all.
True.
We do the best we can.
All right. How the rankings work. 100 cigars were eligible this year. So that's what we kind of smoked in that time window. It's the same number that we did in last year's review scope. So that's kind of, I think, our sweet spot and where we're going to try to stick to going forward. So 100 cigars in that window. So basically the way it works, for each reviewer, the review score for the original review is used. Their top rated cigar gets 100 points. Their bottom rated cigar gets 1 point. That's the way it works. The scores for all the cigars are then added up across the 4 reviewers, and that's how we get the cigar score. And that's it. So it's a pretty simple process. I don't think there's much convoluted numbers or mathematics, algorithms, or any of the sort that is involved in that. So if that's all done, all the heavy lifting is done in our reviews. Top 25 time, it's pretty easy to put it together. So anything else you guys want to add to this before we start hopping into this list?
How many we reviewed 100 within this, I guess, fiscal year. But
Yeah,
do you know how many we did last year? I'm just curious if we do
same
more.
100.
Same amount.
100,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
It's just kind of, I think it's, if we kind of if you're kind of doing like 2 a week kind of a thing, get right around the 100 mark. So I think that's kind of, it works out for us.
I think the only pressing question that might be on our audience's mind, and you might already have a section for this: what happens if there's a tie?
If there's a tie, they will be listed as a tie.
What?
And there is a tie on the list. So thankfully, my biggest fear at the end of this is that we end up with a tie at 25 and we end up having 26 cigars on the list or more. We did have that, I want to say maybe 2021. Maybe.
Yeah,
I think that was
something like
when
that.
we did.
Oh.
Thankfully, it didn't happen this year. The tie was higher than that. So we only have 25 cigars on the list. So that's kind of a nice.
I mean, we haven't discussed this, but I think going forward, what we should do in the event of a tie, those two brands have to do either Rochambeau or rock, paper, scissors, the PCA to who gets that last spot.
Okay. Yeah. We
Yeah.
can do that, I think. So see how it goes. All right, gents. I think we're gonna hop into this now. So I think we're ready to hit number 25. We're gonna go back, bottom to top. Otherwise, it kind of loses some of the
Like
fun.
2 minutes viewing time.
Exactly. All right, so here we go. Number 25 is going to be the Topper 125th anniversary. This was a cigar that was a long time coming, I think. Chris had talked to about this, I think, multiple trade shows between PCA and TPE, had given us a couple samples here and there until they were ready to come out. These are like original bands from, I don't know, 50, 60 years ago, something like that, that they used for this project, which is pretty cool. So starting with you, June, what were your, kind of recollecting on this cigar? What were your thoughts on this one?
I've always thought that Topper made like pretty consistent cigars. I thought that it was, it was definitely consistent as well, but this one kind of moved it up the notch. I thought it was really good use of Connecticut broadleaf. In general, I really liked, I think, most Connecticut broadleaf that got released this past year. And this is no different. So always, pretty much consistent, really well priced all the time as well. It's not really flashy brand, but if you want something that's consistent and typically good, I think people should look into these.
How about you, John? You were pretty high on this one as well.
Yeah, I mean, just even looking at the image, right? It's an anniversary cigar, and it's if anything, it's understated. And so, when we reviewed this, it's kind of one of those cigars you light it up and you take a few puffs, and you're like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" So it kind of caught me off guard. And I agree with June. I think the representation of broadleaf was really well done. It's an expensive tobacco now, so you kind of hope that the flavor profile is supporting that broadleaf, and I think they did a great job. And we don't talk about scores when it comes to scoring, but it's one of those things where it's like Connecticut broadleaf is expensive. It's an anniversary cigar, and to be blunt, the MSRP of this is ridiculously affordable for what pricing is in the market. Like Topper could have charged $20 for this, and they didn't. So it's nice.
Definitely, yeah. And yeah, one of the things like you mentioned is the price. Sometimes these anniversary cigars are quite expensive, and then just thinking that at 125 years, I mean, this cigar is quite price friendly. So, well done, a good cigar. So I was glad to see this, cigar finally make its appearance as a release. It had kind of been teased for quite a while that it was coming, and yeah, we're there. All right, so we're going to move up to number 24, and that is the Casa 1910 Soldadera Edition Teniente Angela. I think this is the third series of cigars that Casa 1910 had come out with. The first batch was made in Mexico. Second batch, I'm gonna blow it here. Second batch was Dominican, I'm pretty sure, at La Isla. And then this is third batch from from Nicaragua, I believe. I have the Dominican and Nicaragua mixed up, but we're gonna go with the Nicaraguan offering. I'll still use some Mexican tobacco, so sticking to the roots of Casa 1910. Seth, I know you were very high on this one. Take us through it.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good Connecticut Robusto. Had like that cedar cream, like this raisin lemongrass quality to it. It just, it had like that solid island kind of quality Connecticut while just delivering this raisin, fruity quality with it. Yeah, just really enjoyable. Just a smooth, easy Connecticut. And it's like 16. That's not a bad price point. So it's a good stick.
How about you, John?
Yeah, we've obviously done quite a lot of reviews of the Casa 1910, and so this to me, I think, really struck a chord with the flavor profile. Like, it's a Habano, and I think what surprised me is that a lot of Habanos it's just really spice forward, and that wasn't the case here. It was, layered, nuanced, kind of really restrained at medium, and it smoked really well all the way through. Yeah, I mean, it was a nice cigar, and like Seth said, I mean, 3 years ago, $16, it'd be like, oh, that's a little spendy, but in the current market, it's $16. It's like, yeah, that sounds about right. So, yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So we're going to move up to our tie. So there is no number 23. There's going to be 2 number 22s. And these are in no particular order. Basically, they went in alphabetical order from top down. So the one that's more the further back of the alphabet is going to be coming up first here. So we're going to hop right into that. And the cigar at number 22 tie is the HVC La Rosa 520 Rare of Rare. And this is a highly anticipated cigar that I was looking forward to because it was going to be made in the United States, kind of from that 520 line, which has had a good run and all that. So good to see that it made our list. And Seth, this is another one that you were pretty high on.
Yeah, this one was what, Ecuadorian Sumatra on the wrapper. I'm gonna get this one right. So it was a good torpedo. I really like this. It was a really balanced stick. I remember talking about it was delivering that lighter Ecuadorian Sumatra flavor profile. So it just had some nice spices, some creaminess as well. It's just, Rainier had a really good year. And I was just really high on a lot of the stuff, but this was a fun thing, especially out of the US.
And June, you had you like this one as well, right?
Yeah, I didn't suck as much dick as Seth did for HVC, but
no one did, man. No
true,
one did.
True. But this was good. I thought Rainier kind of finding other, factories to work with outside of Tapsa. I thought he did a great job and doing this out of El Titan. I mean, it has he it it kind of shows me like he's I think he knows where to source and where to go for tobacco and blend because you know I kind of feel like sometimes when you just work with like especially one factory, you could kind of be kind of a one-trick pony. Um, but he's shown that he could utilize like multiple factories and still create that stuff that's fresh and new, and keep it exciting. So, and this is no different.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so let's get to the other cigar that is at the number 22 spot, and that cigar is the Alfonso Anejos number 2. And June, another one that you were high on.
Yeah, this was these are really pricey, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's kind of funny. That's the number one thing I remember about this cigar. But I mean, and this is a Nelson Alfonso, of course. Okay. I, you know, I thought that as expected of what I kind of, when I have one of these like, stuff that's made from Alfonso, like Nelson Alfonso, it has to be just um, like really balanced, almost like a luxurious kind of a smoke. And I thought they did this quite well. You know, it doesn't quite remind me of like when I first started smoking those Atabase. Nothing quite well because that original run of Atabase was just like something special. It's not that special at all, but it kind of has that same DNA with this cigar.
Right. Absolutely. All right, so now we are moving up to number 21. And that is actually a cigar that we just published a review of this morning. And that cigar is the CLE PCA 2023 exclusive 50 by 5. And John, you want to take us a little bit through this one?
It's a boy.
It's a boy. Yeah, as soon as I saw the baby blue, I was like, this is definitely landing in the top 25. No, I mean, obviously we were waiting for this. It was kind of highly anticipated because talked a lot about before the show, talked about it at the show. So, one of those cigars that just sort of quietly built anticipation. It was really complex the flavors are integrated in an interesting way, and sometimes that's complicated, I think, when you have a Connecticut shade because you're kind of walking that balance between making the flavors interesting versus just sort of doing a paint by numbers typical Connecticut where it's creamy hay wood whatever. And I think Christian did a really good job here of making it sort of a modern Connecticut shade without really moving too far outside of what the profile of a Connecticut shade is. And, I think on a broader thing, I think we've been really digging a lot of what's been coming out of CLE and secondarily JRE, which, I'm sure we'll talk about at some point. But, this is a really nice release. And I will say, I hope there's more PCA releases like this because, this is an example of what a PCA exclusive is. I think retailers would be pretty happy.
Yeah, and this is utilizing this mysterious South American tobacco that nobody knows the source of. So that was something I was really looking forward to. And not just this line, but also a couple of other lines utilizing that tobacco. But this one kind of spoke to me in regards to that being Connecticut shade and all that stuff. And I enjoyed the cigar. Beautiful construction as well. It's just kind of a pretty smooth smoke. I don't know that I'm talented enough to pick out this unique tobacco and the exact thing that it brought to the blend, but it was enjoyable. So it was well done. And like you said, the going into the PCA exclusive process, like the whole thing was that you need to make it special. You can't just like kind of tag along with the TAA process and see every brand's just going to put out one and we'll see how it goes. Like really, it needs to be something special to be able to kind of run that process and make it something that people actually want to spend money on instead of just saying, oh, this is another cigar from a brand that I think I have to buy it. So
yeah, and I think if you're a CLE shop already, and I don't know if, whether you would have had a chance to smoke a sample of the show, but I think if you're a CLE shop already, this is definitely one where you're like, okay, we definitely need to have this in our portfolio on display. So yeah.
All right, so we've gotten through 5 so far, so we're going to do a quick review there. So if you're just kind of tuning in, you can kind of see the list here. I'm not going to read through them all that fast, so you can just take a look and pause it here if you need to or whatever you want to do. But I think we're just going to keep heading through the list. So now we are going to get to cigar number 20, and that cigar is the Rocky Patel DBS Robusto. And John, you can get us started on this one as well.
Yeah, listen, man, it's got 3 bands, like everyone knows if you put 3 bands in a cigar, I'm going to give it a 6.75. That's just no. It's an interesting cigar because when I heard the combination, so I think it's Mexican San Andre on the wrapper, and then it's got Honduran broadleaf, Nicaraguan broadleaf, and Pennsylvania broadleaf. And, being the master blender that I am, I'm like, well, that's not going to work. Like there's no way that's too much broadleaf, and you can't combine Honduran broadleaf and Nicaraguan broadleaf. That's just going to be a hot mess. I'm glad to eat my words on that. It was really interesting, and I think maybe in my head I was kind of expecting this sort of really earthy palate coating profile, and kind of anything but. I might actually thinking back on Rocky's releases the last few years, this might be my favorite release of Rocky's in possibly the last 3 years. It's just a really, really well balanced cigar, and enjoyed it thoroughly.
Seth, you were also pretty high on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with John. They did a really good job of going with that double broadleaf, and really, we've talked about how there's some good ones and some bad ones. I'll be honest, I went into this thinking I don't think Rocky's going to be able to pull this one off. I actually really enjoyed it. So there you go. Lots of flavors, really complex, full, strength and body, good construction. As John said, shit ton of bands. The bands actually look a lot of bands, but I actually really like the coloring on the bands though. So it's like
that orange really pops against that Mexican San Andre.
He did a good job. So I liked it.
All right, we are up to number 19, and that cigar is the JRE Aladino Limited Edition. This was a fantastic cigar. I really enjoyed it. At JRE, they're doing wonderful things with Honduran tobacco. Not all of them are a hit for me, but when they put it together well, it really works for me. So just really balanced, elegant flavor profile in this cigar. Not crazy expensive, but also not something that's cheap like some other lines that are much more price conscious. But I think it's kind of right there in that sweet spot for kind of where the market is at the time and what it delivers. It's just a really wonderful cigar. What were your thoughts on it, Seth?
I loved it. I mean, I remember saying if you took the bands off of this and you didn't tell people this was Hunter, and I think you could convince people that it wasn't Hunter, and I think it would probably sell a lot. Really balanced, complex. Aladino's just solid. They just can do a really good job and keep the price point really good. So even their limited editions, which it's kind of, I think we take them for granted with Jerry just because of their access. So we should be thankful for them though. This is good.
Yep. All right, hopping up to number 18. We are at the Black Label Trading Company Bishop's Blend Novem Dialis Toro. John, I'm going to start with this one.
Yeah, so I think this represents I think this is like a 10-year anniversary for their, if I'm not mistaken, their Bishop's Blend, and I'm a huge fan of obviously Black Label in general. I've been a huge fan since the original Bishop's Blend started. I think I've got like, I don't know, 2 or 3 boxes of the various years. And I think, one of the things we noticed this year is you can kind of go one of two ways with a limited edition that's supposed to represent a line. Like it's supposed to be a mark of a time of a cigar line that's been out. You can either go sort of very, very full bodied and sort of try to represent maybe a little more intensity in the cigar, or you can go in a different direction. And I think this to me represented a different direction, which was it still has the core elements of what a Bishop's Blend is, which is, it's a lot of heavier tobaccos, a lot of intense flavors. But James Brown kind of dialed that back where he said, okay, well, there's some room in here to put in nuance and subtlety and maybe some softer flavors that you wouldn't necessarily expect out of something that's really traditionally medium full bodied. And I think he accomplished that, at least for me, speaking as a guy who really likes their blends. And then, the icing on the cake was, okay, well, it's probably going to be like $18 to $20. And it's like, nope, it's going to be the same old affordable price that we always do. And it's like, wow, okay. That's kind of nice for people who don't want to drop $20 on a limited edition / commemorative release. So yeah, pretty happy with that all across the board, I'd say.
And Seth, you really enjoyed this one as well.
Yeah, I've also just really liked to see the growth of like Black Label and James Brown over the years. I just think that the blends have become a little bit more complex. There's balance to them, but there's still that full and strength and body. They're just smoking really well. He's delivering really rich, strong flavors, but it's smokable. So yeah, good for them.
All right, we are up to number 17, and that cigar is the Monte Cristo FSG Toro. This is actually a store exclusive for Corona Cigar Company, as you can imagine, being utilizing the FSG tobacco. So Monte Cristo and FSG teamed up, Plasencia making the cigar. So I think you have some good pedigree there in kind of bringing this together. And John, you could take us through this one again.
Yeah, so I mean, this pick might be a little divisive. I think typically when we've done FSG reviews, I think it's one of those tobaccos where you're kind of either a fan of FSG or you're not. And so, I'm not going to try and talk anyone out there who's not a fan of FSG into it, but I think what they did really well here is that they've done that thing where they say, okay, FSG can be a little intense or it can be a little dominant. So we're going to find a way to really integrate it into a profile that's complex and sophisticated and interesting and still make it so that you're enjoying the FSG elements without it taking over. And I mean, I don't want to say I was shocked, but like, this is certainly one of the top ways I've tasted a cigar that is integrated FSG. And then on top of that, you look at the strength level. And I was, typically with an FSG, it tends to be a little on the stronger side. And I think they really managed to hold back at like I would call it a medium minus all the way through. So I was like, I wasn't expecting this cigar, but I'm glad we had the chance to review it because it was enjoyable for sure.
Yep. And Seth, what are your thoughts on this one?
Caught myself on that one. No, it's like John said, this was one of those times where you could really kind of get a more balanced FSG kind of flavor profile. It wasn't over the top. It was just a little bit lighter, so you could still pick up the flavors, and it was really approachable for a lot of smokers. So I think it's a great little thing that Jeff's got, and it's something worth trying if you really want to just kind of get something lighter while also still tasting that FSG quality, even though, however much is in the blend.
Absolutely. Sorry.
Why are you
And now for
apologizing?
something completely different.
Yes.
Oh, I guess it's time for the summary, right? We're doing a
No,
summary
we
of the
got
last.
one more before the
One more?
before the summary. Yeah, we're
All
going
right.
to do one more for the summary.
All right.
All right. So number 16, we are at the Mirafell Mir Robusto, and John, you're going to start us off with this one again. After you take a sip.
I feel like so this cigar kind of caught me off guard a little bit. I wasn't sure. I mean, fortunately, I kind of went into it relatively blind. I didn't look at the profile. I didn't look at the blend. Fortunately, I didn't look at the price. But it's kind of one of those cigars where it's like it's for lack of a better description, it's a very European style of tobacco where you're not necessarily getting all the flavors unless you actually reach for them. And so, at times it was medium, but it did make me work a little bit, and I actually appreciate that. I mean, that's one of the things that I enjoy when we get European type or European exclusive cigars to review is that they're not quite blended in the same way that a lot of U.S. blends are, and that's nice. I mean, if I had a complaint, and I don't really have a complaint, I just kind of wanted it to be a little longer. I wanted it to be more of smoking time because it was like 4 7/8 or 4 5/8 or something like that. So it's
Yeah.
a little under 5 inches. But that's certainly one of those cigars where I think a year or two from now, people are going to be like, "Hey, remember when Miracle put out this cigar in 2023?" And be like, "Yeah, we smoked that and it showed up on our list." So it's nice to have the opportunity to review it for sure.
All right, Seth, how about your thoughts?
It's one of those.
You might have gotten unplugged from your.
But unplugged your mic.
Bring your mic down or something. There he is.
Check.
Hey, buddy.
How's that, man?
Check.
We good to go?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There we go. Listen, it was a fun stick. I mean, it was super pricey. I enjoyed the flavor profile. It was fun to smoke. You could get that African tobacco quality. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It was kind of one of those. I think there was a lot of hype to it, and I was glad I smoked it. Yeah, there we go. I don't know.
Right.
It's kind of the flavor profile that you kind of expected to get.
Right. All right, so we made it through 10 cigars. So I'm going to give you another recap here. So these are our 16 through 25. If you're catching us after this started, just kind of catch you back up to what we've made it through so far. I'm not going to read through them, but you can take a pause here if you need to kind of look through that. And we are going to get to cigar number 15. And that cigar is the Espinosa Las Seis Provincias CMW. And John, this was your favorite cigar this year. So why don't you talk about it?
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite cigar. And I've enjoyed the Las Seis Provincias line. So I would say I didn't necessarily go into this expecting anything other than a good cigar. But I don't think I went into it expecting it a cigar that was going to deliver at this level. And I think what caught me off guard is that, Espinosa, and I smoke a lot of Espinosa cigars. I think they typically have a habit of blending for a bit of a punch in the face when it starts out. I mean, that's kind of their trademark is like you get that really slap, like the slapping competitions, but with spice. And I kept waiting for it and waiting for it and waiting for it, and it just didn't happen. It was just balanced and subdued, rich and creamy and flavorful, and then that sort of developed for me into the second third is like this Mexican hot chocolate combination of like chili spices and cinnamon, and I was like, oh boy, this is really nice. So I think by the end, I kind of came away from this going, you know what, this is probably my favorite Las Seis Provincias that's come out. So yeah, super tasty.
And Seth, you enjoyed it as well, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, John mentioned it was really rich. I got a lot of nice spice mocha. I'd have to go back again, but I think I also thought this was probably one of the best ones they did.
I think you did.
It just it smoked great from beginning to end. Nice construction, really great quality. So yeah, highly
Good,
recommend.
good Venn diagram for the Seth John Nicaragua originating
There you
blend
go.
profile, which
Yeah.
doesn't happen very often, but certainly happened here.
All right, we're going to go up to number 14, and that cigar is the Davidoff Year of the Rabbit Limited Edition 2023. I found this cigar to be quite interesting, flavorful, enjoyable. Shows that Davidoffs can still put it together when they want to and deliver something that was quite special. And I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I think you felt the same way, Seth.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I thought it was, I remember making the joke. It was fun that they did a little perfecto and so forth, but it's just kind of, I feel like we smoked so many this year that it's like, let's take a break from them for a little while, guys, so that they're fun again. But it just had that, it had a really good Davidoff quality. There was like some lemon zest, some herbal quality, some cedar, really enjoyable, earthy, rich, nice from beginning to end.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to lucky number 13. And that cigar is the HVC Selección number 1 Natural Esenciales. And we're going to throw it back to you, Seth.
I mean, listen, it was fantastic. I think, wasn't this one of his first cigars out of his new factory or something like
I
that?
think this one came after the regular
Okay.
Selección number 1. So it came after that one, but yes, one of the early cigars from the new
It's
factory.
just barnyard leather, nutty, toasty coffee, great flavors. I mean, it just smoked wonderful. Loved it.
June, you also enjoyed this.
Yeah, it's great for the money too, being only like sub $8. I did we well, I think HVC did so well. Well, they did very well on our list. Can't spoil the rest of the list.
That's right.
Spoilers.
All right, moving up to number 12. And that cigar is the Espinosa Knuckle Sandwich Connecticut Short Churchill G. So this is the third iteration from the Knuckle Sandwich line after the Maduro and the Habano. Finally got to the Connecticut. And John, take us through this one.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the regular knuckle sandwich line, so I don't think it would be an exaggeration to say I wasn't necessarily expecting the Connecticut to hit for me because you look at the profile and you're like, well, I don't know how that's going to work with a Connecticut style wrapper, but made me a liar yet again. And I would describe this as sort of the more modern upmarket Connecticut, so you still retain sort of that really nice creaminess and a little bit of wood, tobacco notes from the sort of Connecticut side of things, and then just enough flavor intensity through the second and last third to sort of keep that Espinosa type style of blending quality, but not too far, I think. So kind of walked a bunch of lines. The profile, the Vitola is really nice. I think it's a 48 ring gauge, and I think it's got a soft box press. It's a really comfortable cigar to smoke. And I think I got like 2 hours, 17 minutes or something like that out of it. So good value too. Yeah, this is nice cigar.
And Gene, you also enjoyed this one.
Yeah, just bouncing back what John was saying. It has all the things that you love in a Connecticut shade, all that creaminess, sweetness. Does a really good job of not being, overly bitter, or like grassy quality to it. And then it has a little bit more added spice than your typical Connecticut shade, which is is a welcoming thing for the cigar. So
Yeah. All right, moving on to cigar number 11. And that is the Drew Estate Liga Privada H99 Connecticut Rojo Papas Fritas. And Seth, this was your number 1 cigar of the year.
Loved it, man. Junior, like shocked by this. Actually, listen, I've smoked a crap ton of these, man, since these were released. These
I did
are
too,
like
actually.
I've smoked. These have been my things to smoke when limited time I have and so forth. But it's I wasn't really crazy about the H99 Connecticut's when we first smoked them. But in the Papas Fritas form, it's a completely different cigar. It's just tons of flavor in this little compact stick that's really affordable. the burn was great. The draw was great. They're really consistent too. I smoked a lot of them and they all deliver great flavor profiles. I know it sounds like stupid and who knows how the batches will be down the road, but they've smoked really great. If people haven't tried them yet because they didn't like the H99, they should. So I loved it. I don't know if anyone was close to me though.
Yeah, June also really enjoyed this.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Yeah, what Seth was saying, totally agree. I think I smoked through
12
all
of
of
them.
these.
Oh yeah, we smoked
At
through like
least
15.
5. Yeah, at least 5.
Yeah,
But
I mean, if we had bundles of this, they would just get destroyed. Honestly,
They're
Yeah.
really affordable. You can buy like, I mean,
yeah, they're super affordable.
they're
and
probably
maybe, sorry, Seth, what are you saying?
no, I was gonna say they're probably a great smoke right now. I don't know if I'd smoke them like in the summer on the beach or something. They might be a little too much for that, but like this wintertime and fall, they were great.
And this is I love the size. Like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
there's so much of this. Well, maybe not the recent Cuban cigar market, but I wish there was more of this size for you to just, take, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes or so and just be done with it, right? And if you're not, just light up another one. And that's exactly what this is.
And,
Yeah,
and, and to,
you
sorry.
know, and the palate holds really well too. It's one of those where, I've smoked other cigars and I go back to this and, you know, um, palate for I mean, I know palate fatigue is based upon like probably more so what kind of cigars you smoke, right? But I felt like even, smoking a couple of them going to this, it was almost refreshing because it's such a like it had a like this really unique, like fruit cake kind of like stone fruit kind of quality to it that I really love. And I
Yeah.
had it at every single one of those that I smoked.
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna say, to your point about the size, June. I think what I like about it is we've smoked cigars that are shorter than this, and so I think the length of it is like just kind of perfect. Like I wouldn't want this cigar a half inch or 3/4 of an inch shorter because I feel like a lot would be lost. So it kind of is that perfect sweet spot for length.
So
All right, we've made it through 15 cigars so far. I'll give you a little bit of a recap as to where we're at. So these are number 11 through 25. So if you're just kind of joining us late, you can kind of catch up to where we're at. So if you need to read through this list, maybe try to pause it and take a look at it and catch back up. But we are going to get into the top 10 here.
What?
Yeah. I know.
I thought we were gonna broadcast that tomorrow and leave people hanging.
We could.
no, I
I
thought we were gonna
guess.
broadcast it one per day.
One a
Per
day.
day. I will
Yeah.
do that. Yeah,
Nice.
drag it out.
Yeah, and then just share it on all social media and
No, and then number 1 and number 2 is going to be on our Patreon.
Yeah, exactly. You have to pay to see who it is.
it'll be like, what was DP's number 1? I don't know. Do you know?
Got to pay to play, baby.
You gotta pay to play, baby. Yes.
Expensive year, man. We
Fucking
got to pay the
love it.
bills.
Pay to play.
Man,
All
I
right.
wonder if you could get away. I wonder if like CA could get away with that.
Oh
Nope.
yeah.
I think that would be the death of it if they did that. I don't think anybody would care at that point. Nobody cares enough to pay to see the lists.
They'll
And
just
then
leak it.
one person would pay, and then they would just say it on social media, and then it's over. So it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
that's
Yeah,
true.
that's true.
Yeah, but we got that one motherfucker to pay, man.
Well, I guess if you get somebody to pay $10,000,
$20.
Every
Cha-ching.
year, that one fucking year, that guy who does it, that one year, I'm gonna rip him a fucking new one the whole year until the next year when we get another guy.
All right, number 10, the Illusione original documents, Habano, Corona, Gorda. And we're gonna start with you on this one, Seth.
I mean, look, it's surprising what happens when you leave Topset, right? So, I mean, I hate to. Alan wanted to know if I was going to get vicious. There you go. There it is. So, yeah, original documents, Habano, something really new. He went with AJ. It was just balanced. It was, I mean, shit, man. It was nice smoking original documents that just was pleasant from beginning to end. Nice construction, really good flavors, nothing like out of the park, but it was just core, Nicaraguan and Habano qualities.
Yep. And your thoughts, June?
Yeah, it's
Agree with what I said, man.
I agree. It's
Yeah,
good,
Say
but
it.
you feel bad. Still feel bad. I know. For me, Tabsa isn't as what it used to be, and Nagar North Tobacco isn't what it used to be. I associate Aganorsa with Dion, and
Yeah.
one of my first loves of premium cigars is Dion's, Aganorsa stuff. So, but hey, aside from all that, this is a great cigar. This is surprising. I was ready to shit on it, but I ended up liking it.
Yeah, I've lost count how many of these I've smoked this year. It's a lot.
All right, we're up to number 9, and that cigar is the Tatuaje 20th Anniversary Grand Marvé. And John, you're gonna start, or sorry, Seth, you're gonna start us out with this one.
Jeez, man, I just keep on rolling these
Oh.
things. So we just did this pretty recently, didn't we?
Yes.
I feel like we did. Yeah. I
Fresh.
mean,
The,
listen,
the review
it's
published last Wednesday or last Monday.
I think
So.
I think this is I think I said this was probably the best cigar to come out of my father. I think Pete's done amazing stuff out of Miami, but I think this is the best thing he's done out of my father down in Nicaragua. I think it's one of the better things to come out of there in a while, and they've smoked some good stuff, but it delivered that Tatuaje quality. It was just, really hit on every flavor profile. The size was fantastic. Great construction. Loved the wrapper. The band against it looked really good. I fucking felt cool smoking it, man. So it's just, I was like, look at this, kids. So I didn't do that. But yeah, it's a great stick.
Yeah, I'm agree with you. Really well done. I'm not the biggest Tatuaje fan. Like I kind of suffered through the Tuxla experiment last year. Yeah, I know you guys all loved them. It just wasn't for me. But then we get to this cigar, and it smokes so well, and it's priced so well, and I don't know. It just everything came together for this cigar for me. So really well done. Looking forward to smoking more of these. Yeah, it's just a really nice anniversary cigar. I'm really looking forward to the one that's going to be made in the United States, the blue banded one. John and I had a chance to smoke that in Vegas last year.
Oh yeah.
And really enjoyed that. So hopefully it stays on par with this one. It will be in good shape. All right, we're gonna move up to number 8, and this is the JRE Aladino Classic Elegante. And I will say I was not a fan of the Classic in its previous Vitolas. Really not a fan. But it seems that there's some magic that they sprinkle in their Lanceros, the Elegantes, that really just makes the blend come together. And that was no different with this Classic. And I can't tell you how far apart I am on I think it was the Rothschild, I think that we smoked compared to this. Night and day difference. Really elegant smoke, super flavorful, great construction, just worked out really well. And it's sub $10. Like everything that you kind of want in a cigar is in this cigar, and I'd say beautiful. But June, you also enjoyed this cigar.
Yeah. So this is like behind the scenes numbers, or it's not really behind the scenes. You could really dig into our website if you wanted to, but I'm usually the one that hates GRE cigar reviews. For instance, if I remotely liked the what is the other one that we just what was our
The limited edition.
yeah, the limited edition one, that would have been top 10 for sure, because the rest of you guys really liked it. And typically I'm the one that doesn't really like GRE stuff. But aside from this, I really like this one. Um, I thought it was, elegant, really balanced, um, quality wrapper, obviously given this, Lancero format. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe I don't like Honduran Cameroon, maybe.
Could be.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
that's
it
what it
just
is.
most of it doesn't hit my palate, but this one was really good. I would love to smoke more of these.
Nice. All right, we are going to go to number 7, and that cigar is the Roma Craft Intemperance Volstead VO 1920 Noble Experiment. Long name, but we are going to start off right back with you, June.
Yeah, I don't I typically don't like Roma Craft. I think some of the cigar kind of tastes like might I say dirty ashtray.
Too much
But
Mambaco,
yeah,
or
too much Mambaco. But this one was really strong. A lot of Mambaco. But I thought the flavors were the best way to pair a lot of strength for me is like having really full, like kind of not punch in your mouth flavors, but like really full flavors, right? That complements strength, right? So it's like, a lot of like spice, a lot of black coffee. And it was really good. Like it was really oily smoke. And I was really surprised. So surprised that I think I bought a couple at the near local B&M, but I haven't smoked it again.
All right, John, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, listen, I really enjoyed the notes of aged, well fermented tobacco. I mean, those are definitely my favorite flavor notes that were contained within this.
The only notes you got, I think, but
yeah, that's right. So I mean, for people who aren't necessarily aware, I mean, I'm sure there's people out there who are not familiar with Romacraft and maybe not familiar with the Intemperance line. The Intemperance line has been around for a hot minute, and for me, it's one of the more consistent lines because you've got the EC, which is the Ecuadorian Connecticut, you got the BA, which is the Brazilian Arapiraca, and then I can't remember the third one because I'm a goof. But the EC and the BA have always kind of been staples for me. EC a little bit on the lighter side, BA a little bit on the more forward side. And so when I heard he was kind of going with another, like a fourth iteration, I was like, boy, that's going to be tough because that's a pretty full line already. And, with other people, it's been my experience that when you try to do a line extension, they don't quite make the same level of, goodness as the other. This, again, we're talking about how much of a liar I am because to me, this is probably now, not probably, this is my favorite intemperance expression, which really surprised me. I was expecting to like it. I wasn't expecting it to like it this much. And then, you look at the fact that it's Ecuadorian Sumatra, and we've seen, Seth can attest to, we've seen some pretty disastrous Ecuadorian Sumatra representations this year. So I was like, oh, I don't know Ecuadorian Sumatra, but all of that, and then you factor in the price point, which I had to do a double take at, or I'm like, what? So yeah, these will be probably along with the EC and probably the BA. This will be a regular staple in my humidor going forward. It's a really nice expression, and obviously there's a ton of sizes too. So, if you for whatever reason don't like that 1920 size, there's lots and lots of, or Noble Experiment size. Pardon me. There's lots of different sizes. So,
why don't you pile on here, Seth?
It was good, man. Because I went into it kind of thinking it was going to go another direction just based off of Skip's lens, but I just found it to be really balanced. It didn't smoke like a lot of his other stuff.
yeah.
It was a really good Ecuadorian Sumatra. I think I made the joke like I'm not going to smoke the other Vitolas and fuck it up and just smoke this one. So it's one of those I'd be interested to smoke it again just because I really like Ecuadorian Sumatra. Looking back on it, I really wonder how it ages. So it smoked really different than a lot of others of Skip stuff. So it was cool.
All right, we get to number 6. That cigar is the Blackwork Studio S&R 2023 Corona Larga. And for this, we're going to hop back to you, John.
Yeah, man, it's a good cigar. The fun thing about, well, Skip as well, James Brown at Black Label Trading Company has sort of taken what I think has been largely a gimmicky thing of barber poles and turned it into something that like is really both visually appealing, but also he blends it for flavor. It's not just for visual. Then he adds little touches like the curly cap and that sort of thing. This isn't, I mean, it's definitely along the fuller side, because a lot of cigars they make are, but it doesn't really line up with anything else necessarily in the portfolio for me. A lot of sort of the nuttier side of things like sunflower seeds, maybe some cashews, cinnamon, nutmeg, graham cracker, a lot of tobacco notes, but really nice tobacco notes that don't kind of leave that dirty burned leaf taste on your mouth. This is just a delight to smoke. Great format too. I mean, I really like Corona Larga. So, yeah, this is a fun cigar to smoke for sure.
And June, what were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's a typical James Brown kind of a higher strength cigar. But I thought it also had some really nice complexities to it as well, which, that's I feel like when I smoke James Brown's blends, it's like, hey, is it going to be strong? Yeah, it will be. But the real question is it going to pair that strength with like nice flavors and boldness and flavors? If he nails that, then usually it's a winner for me. But even with that said, even though I liked it, it's not something that I, smoke very often. I don't like being gut punched with nicotine in cigars. So
Right. Yep. Yep. All right, we have made it through 20 cigars. So we are going to take a little quick look at where we are at this point. And you can see the cigars 6 through 25 here. If you're just kind of joining us late, this will catch you up as to where we're at. We had one tie at the 22 mark, but otherwise the list is going to be devoid of ties from here on out. All right, it's top 5 time. So let's get into it. All right, cigar number 5 is the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Mi Querida Black Papa Saka. And I found this cigar to be quite wonderful. I'm glad that Steve finally listened to us and stopped making everything so fucking big, and he brought stuff down, and we concentrated it into this flavorful thing. It's definitely not the same as the Saka Khan, that big monstrosity that, while still good, wasn't as focused on flavors, but this really did the job for me. So something I really enjoyed, and I think you enjoyed it as well, June.
yeah, it's kind of funny how he's been coming out with Connecticut broadleaf, every single year. You kind of figure at some point, I kind of figure at some point, when is it going to stop and just be all the same shit? But no, he still does really well coming out with, blends that are, not drastically altered, but altered enough to bring like a, different level of flavors or strength, and ultimately, still blend really good heavier tobaccos and then put it out there and to make it delicious.
Yeah,
Your
I
thoughts,
think I
John?
think I think what so because Junior just talking about the Blackworks and you were like it's kind of a gut punch. What I really like is like this is a full flavor cigar. Like there's no question that like from the hop this is a full flavored cigar, but he keeps the sort of strength of this cigar right at medium the whole way through. So like at no point do you kind of feel overwhelmed by it or like does it feel too much? And I've actually lost count of how many I've smoked in this. Like it's got to be I mean, I think I've smoked a box, just in singles, because you just kind of keep coming back to it. Yeah, I mean, he really knocked it out of park with this one. This is a great. I mean, I know it's a line extension, but bravo.
Yeah, Seth agrees with all our sentiments as well.
Right.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
All right, get to number 4. The cigar is the Gurkha Collection Especial Lonsdale. This is not a Lonsdale, so don't let them fool you, but they're going to call it that, but it was still a good cigar. So,
Yeah, name council doesn't approve it.
Seth, thoughts on this Gurkha?
It was a fantastic Connecticut. It smoked great from beginning to end. Nice balance, great body and strength, complex flavors. It's just one of those. I kept smoking it like, what, really? So it was it was great. I know we smoked another Gurkha afterwards, and that was not as great. But this was fantastic out of PDR. It was just, yeah, I'd smoke these all the time.
John.
Yeah, I had obviously a very similar experience to Seth, and I tend to go into these blind, so I just assumed it was Connecticut shade, but I think it's actually Mexican Sumatra wrapper, and I was like, what? And then I think it's got Connecticut broadleaf in the filler, and I was like, what is going on right now? But man, oh man, what a nice profile, creamy, bready. Just kind of I'd call this kind of a modern take on a Connecticut broadleaf, where you kind of blend out that like Jim was alerting to earlier. You blend out that sort of grassiness, and you blend out a lot of that sort of bitter wood, and you just leave the creaminess and some bread left, and you get this, and it's like, huh, okay, yeah, This works.
All right, June.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about reviewing this cigar. It's been so long. But it's kind of funny that I first look at Gurkha and you're like PDR. Usually it doesn't create much fanfare when you look at it from the literature of that. But hey, I mean, that's why uh that's why you got to smoke them to know, right? So um yeah, but man, this is number four. This is number four. That's interesting.
Yep.
High praise.
Yeah.
All right. We are now at the podium positions. And we are going to go with number 3. And that's Cigar.
Is this where Mercedes comes in? Is that the
I don't know. You can tell me if this brand is Mercedes or not.
fair enough?
The Highclere Castle Sonnetter. I'm gonna say, go out on a limb, maybe the best cigar ever to come out of AJ Fernandez's factory. Maybe I can go as far as saying that. I'm not a fan of AJ Fernandez's factory releases. You can all attest to that. It's just not my thing. But the cigar was quite good. I enjoyed it. It's quite expensive, but this limited release is now a regular release. So there you go. So you can get your hands on it if you want to spend that much money. But John, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't. It's funny you said the best cigar to come out of AJ, and I didn't really think about it until you said that. But yeah, I think that's probably accurate. It's quite remarkable what Nick has managed to do with this. I think the Vitola is a little imposing because, I would say typically with a larger Vitola, we haven't necessarily had the best experiences. So I was a little hesitant because I was like, man, I really hope this cigar doesn't lose steam at the halfway point. But it really didn't. It wasn't linear. It wasn't muddled. Just really rich tobacco notes. Lots of sort of stone fruit, and he didn't pull punches on the strength. I mean, obviously you can see the wrapper. I mean, it's a gorgeous looking cigar, but I think the profile matches quite nicely. So not inexpensive, but sometimes the things in life are not free, and this is one of those.
June, your thoughts?
I think Joe Rogan will love this cigar. I don't know why I thought that, but I think Joe Rogan will really like this cigar.
How did you
But
like
yeah,
it, Ed?
anyway,
Because it's a good cigar.
yeah. But I would probably go as far as to say Nick is probably the best, uses AJ tobacco the best out of anybody that I've seen. It's like it's good, the stuff that he comes out with out of AJ. So yeah, this was awesome. Beautiful wrapper too. I totally remember this wrapper and how
Beautiful it was.
yeah, how beautiful it was.
All right, Seth, your thoughts?
Beautiful wrapper.
Beautiful
So-
wrapper.
No, it I thought it was going to be a decent cigar going into it. I think Highclare's done a really. I've gained a lot more respect for Highclere, and I think the more I've smoked a lot of their blends, and you spent time with them after, especially during when we did the show with them on the gin. Really went into like smoking some other Vitolas and was like, oh wow, actually, it's like this is actually really. I should give this brand more attention. So I gave this one. I went into it knowing that it was going to be kind of a premium, but it was actually a really good cigar. I think you're right that it is probably one of the better blends to come out of AJ. I do think Nick does fantastic stuff with AJ tobacco. The funny thing is I tagged John and Nick on this. I was looking at this Highclere thing today, and there was like talking about this Temple of Diana thing. I was like, hey, next limited edition for Highclere Castle. And Nick Malone liked it. I was like, you should do it. So, I mean, I'll be interested to smoke them on regular production. I don't think they'll be the same, but I hope they're amazing.
Yeah. All right, we are at number 2, and that cigar is the HVC Selección number 1 Esenciales. So John, take us through your thoughts on this one.
Yeah. So whenever, for people who aren't aware, when people start their own factory, it's been my experience that there's a break-in period, and usually that break-in period can be a little rough. First few releases can be, you're kind of hoping to sort of get over that hurdle. Rainier decided to go in another direction, and he just decided to come out of the gate swinging with bangers. And this is one of those where And I didn't realize there'd been a factory change until I reached out to Aaron. Like, I don't know, I think I was like 2 inches in, and I was like, "Where in the fuck did this come out of?" And he's like, "Oh, this is Rainier's new factory." I'm like, "Oh my god!" So yeah, this was definitely one of those cigars where you light it up, you take 6 puffs, and you're like, "Wow, okay, this is something else." And the thing is, it's Mexican San Andre, and we've certainly had a lot to say over the last couple of years about Mexican San Andre and how it's a little played out for a lot of blends. And yet here's Rainier going, no, there's a lot of different ways in which you can express Mexican San Andre, and how would you like something that tastes good? We're like, okay, that sounds nice, Rainier. Thank you very much.
All right, Seth.
Oh, also, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
And also the price point. Are you kidding me? What? Is this 2016? What's going on with these prices? Holy crap.
All right, Seth.
I mean, John nailed it. I knew it was I saw his new factory, and then I was, right when I was lining up researching that it was his own factory, and you're like, oh my gosh, why didn't you do this years ago? So it's a great blend. Nice, just nice flavor profile. They all smoked really well. They've been consistent. He's doing a good job, and it's great to see him succeed, because he's kind of one of those, smaller guys that's doing it. So yeah, I'm thrilled for him. Great year for HVC.
Absolutely. All right, it is that time to reveal the number one cigar of the year for Development Palates.
We're doing it. We're just gonna stop it here, right, and do it next week, next Monday.
We'll just maybe we'll just do it like
Do it next year.
Maybe just present it at the PCA trade show or something.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
That would actually be pretty cool to do it there. Just run around to the different booths and do the show.
Nice.
That'd be kind of slick.
Certainly change the trash.
Someone should run with that idea. Maybe
yeah, I mean, especially if they move the show to like in January, beginning of February. Gotta do it.
Yep.
Okay. Here we are. Number one cigar of the year. This is also June's favorite cigar of the year. So it worked out. Obviously all of our top fives for this to make this happen, but it is the Patina Anniversary. So June, since it was your favorite cigar this year, you have the honors of starting this off. What were your thoughts on this cigar?
Oh, this was awesome. This is like the cream of the crop of Connecticut broadleaf. Like everything in terms of what you want in Connecticut broadleaf, the chewiness, the fuller body, the rustic flavors, but the rustic flavors are always like really great chocolate, kind of coffee note backed. This was surprising. I I mean, surprising for number one, I guess, but not surprising that it's like a cigar, because I felt like when Mo moved everything to, I think, Naxa, right?
Yep.
Just in general, like all of his lines have become much better. Not that they were bad, but like much better. And this is definitely happy to be number one. It's hard to find though. That's the only shit part. You can't really find these anywhere to buy.
Yeah, definitely. That's the issue. John.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a trend thing to do number ones that are hard to find, right? Otherwise, everyone could buy them, and then they're just going to disagree with us. This way, they can't buy it and they can't disagree with us. No, this I agree with everything June said. Like it's kind of, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's kind of a throwback to, like, when 5-6 years ago, when people used to put out lots of banger Connecticut broadleafs, and it's just been harder to find really good Connecticut broadleafs. And so when I lit this up, I was like, oh man, this takes me back, because it's all of the elements of broadleaf that I enjoy, without making it too strong, without making it too heavy on the palate. And it was just a delight to smoke. It's a few bucks, but it's not crazy for an anniversary cigar. It's pretty reasonable. This is, it was a real delight to smoke. And with Patina moving to the new factory, I think they're gonna have a really great year in 2024.
Seth.
Yeah, I mean, awesome broadleaf. It was up there with, Tatuaje's great broadleafs, Nick's great broadleafs. It was. I mean, it was rich. It was. It was perfect. It was almost. It's you want to say perfect because you're like, this is just a great experience. It's just like awesome job on a broadleaf. Isn't this his like first and only broadleaf too? I
Yes.
can't remember if he's done another.
think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, this is his first broadleaf. Yeah.
Yeah, first broadleaf. Yeah.
Dude, never do another. No,
Yeah,
never do
don't come
another
out
one,
with more.
man.
Don't fuck
Never
it up.
do another one.
He's done a
Just-
shade before, but this is the first broadleaf. Yeah.
Just do this and be like, why don't you do another one? I don't fucking need to. So
Yeah.
it was
Go out
fantastic.
water on top.
Yeah, no, I would love to smoke these all the time.
Yeah, it was a wonderful cigar. I don't know, flavorful, enjoyable, just nice. You know, kudos to Mo in making it, 5-year anniversary, all that. And it's just a fantastic cigar, from a young, small company. I mean, it's not like he has a workforce that's, pounding down the doors out there. He's kind of a, one-man show, really doing this, doing this and putting some good blends together. So it was really well done, and congratulations to him for.
And also
cigar.
one of the few times where the cigar consistently scored across the board for all of us. Like everyone on the panel was like, "Oh yeah, this is something special."
Yeah, and it was early in
Yeah.
the year.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
And it was just like it just once we kind of smoked, I think we smoked this kind of around May.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a wrap. You don't know what the year's gonna hold, but
That was a wrap.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Seth, I remember you texted me and then you're like, don't fuck this up. I was like, what are you talking about?
I was smoking it.
You smoking it, you're like, don't fuck this up, Jude. I was like,
Yeah.
whatever, man.
I did tell you that. Good for you, man. You didn't do it. You didn't fuck it up, man.
all right, so here's a recap of the full list. There you go. Patina anniversary at the top. The rest of them down below. So that's 25. We had to tie at 22, but yeah, that's kind of the list. If anybody in the chat has any questions they want to fire our way, I saw Stace asked at one point if we re-smoke anything in this process, and we do not.
I mean, we'd love to, but
yeah,
No, we have a life.
I mean, it would.
it's a lot of cigars, man.
Yeah, it would cut down on the number of cigars we can actually review. And I feel like this is the way to do it. It's as if you were just a regular consumer picking up a cigar out of a humidor, and you kind of documenting your process on what you smoked through the year. And the cigar was what the cigar was as you scored it. There's no adjustments or anything like that. So no mulligans, no retries, any of that stuff. It's just the point in time. There's 4 people smoking each of these cigars, and they each have their own experience. And the cigars that can speak to more than one of us is going to be the ones that make it on these lists. So it's good to see. So yeah.
I think the other thing to keep in mind is when, and people may not be aware, but when you post the top 25, there's going to be links below to show individual lists that sort of made up this combined list. So if you're curious as to, because we don't line up 100%, but sometimes it's kind of interesting if you have a reviewer, like if you say, McTavish doesn't know anything about cigars and his tastes don't match mine at all, but June matches everything I like. You can go and look at June's list and say, okay, here's the list that I like, and it's all there for you. So,
right, exactly. Yeah, so like John said, this is going to publish on the website tomorrow. The video will go on YouTube. The page will go up on the website. There will be links to each of the reviews for each cigar next to it. And then at the bottom will be each of our individual lists. So you can check out what was on our lists to kind of go from there and see how it shakes out. Some other items to look forward to in the coming week. Next Monday, we will be doing our annual year-end recap show. So we will be on there along with some of our other cigar media brethren to chat about the 2023 cigar year, highs, lows, look ahead into 2024. That's always a fun show, so you can come and join us. Next Tuesday, we will publish our value list. So the best cigars that give you a bang for your buck, not the best low-cost cigars, but the ones that provide the most value. Some of these cigars will be on that list. And then next Friday, we will publish our kind of behind the scenes numbers. So you'll get to see all of our average scores, how we scored samples versus not samples, how we scored advertisers versus non-advertisers, how we scored by country, all those fun facts that you can kind of see behind the scenes and make sure that we are doing what we say we're doing and we don't have any biases one way or the other and all that good stuff. So to be as transparent as possible. So lots of stuff to look forward to there.
Hey, Aaron.
Yeah.
Jay Davis from Blue Smoke of Dallas would like to know if you feel comfortable saying what each person's individual number one was for 2023.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can share that. So June's was the Patina.
Patina.
Seth's was the Liga Privada
Papas.
H99 Papas Fritas.
All day, buddy.
John's was the Las States Provincia CMW. And
Smoke Espinosa every day.
Yeah, and I had a tie at the top.
Oh,
and it was a three-way
way to
tie.
fuck it up.
I had a three-way tie at the top. And those three cigars were the Papasaka, the Davidoff Year of the Rabbit, and the JRE Aladino Limited Edition. So
talk about three radically different profiles to tie at the top.
Absolutely. Yep.
That is a. What was yours, John?
The Las Provincia.
Yeah,
I really like that cigar. I mean, Patina, I think Patina was still on my top. I mean, I'll look at it tomorrow, but,
yeah, but
that
Seth,
Patina was definitely.
The Patina quite a bit too, I think.
Yeah, so I can tell you the Patina. So
yeah,
Patina
I was the lowest on the Patina, and I was still really high on the thing.
Yeah, Patina was June's number one. It was John's number 4, my number 4, and Seth's number 5. So
there you go.
That's how it works. So that's how you get number 1. So,
there you go. That's the secret. Make a good cigar and make sure that everyone enjoys it. And there you go. Easy math.
Yep.
Oh, Tatuaje was my number 2.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So that's it. Thank you everybody that tuned in. It was a great year.
Where can people complain if they want to complain about their cigar not showing on the list?
You can reach us anywhere. You can do info@developingpalace.com. You can message us on Facebook. You can comment on this video on YouTube. You can do it on Facebook. You can slide into our DMs on Instagram, whatever you'd like to do, however you want to do it. You can reach out and that. So I want to be sure to thank June and Seth and John for another wonderful cigar year. Lots of stuff happened this year. So I appreciate all of your time, even when it was hard to do it. But I want to thank you guys.
What a fucking year for reviewing cigars for me, man. It's fucking nuts, by the way. I'm just to break down that reality there. So
yeah, I appreciate you
2024, man.
Everything. Yeah. So I'm looking
forward to any good ones this year? Yes, we have.
Have we?
That we smoked?
Wait. I don't know. Let's not peek in May though.
Let's like tease. Let's just tease a little bit.
Let's not.
The Halligan.
All right.
Are you calling it? Are you saying Halligan 2024 number 1?
No, I'm just saying we started out. I think Saka's the first. Saka our first cigar that we're reviewing for 2024.
That was the first. That's the first review.
That's the first one.
Yeah.
Krakatoa.
The sound heard around the world.
Didn't that just make a list?
No,
it made a list, but not our list.
Yeah,
not our list.
Yeah,
it made the consensus.
There you go.
But yeah,
no, Jay, we did not do a list of our best top 5 takes. But if someone would like to put that together, you're more than welcome to.
Best 5 best takes. What kind of
that's interesting. I'm gonna give that some thought, but I don't know if that'd be easy to do because I'd have to download.
Takes?
No, the hot takes, I think, on the video recaps.
I did go back and listen to the Patina video today, just in preparation for tonight, and the whole broadleaf, like, don't make any more broadleafs, did come up in that conversation. or you got to take 2 years off before you do a broadleaf again or something like that. So,
and God forbid, if you make a regular production, we'll beat the shit.
Yeah, don't mess it up. Don't mess it up.
Yep. All right, everybody, thank you. I would love to hang out and do a chat or something like that, but we do have to do other things in our lives. But thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, the list will go up on the website tomorrow, so you can go ahead and pick it apart some more. But we really appreciate everyone tuning in. That was fantastic. Thank you for joining us, and looking forward to a great 2024 cigar year. See you guys next week on the media recap show, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
Bye, y'all.
Adios.